Hey guys, how's it going? Today we're going to be looking over your game one from Monday night. I think this was a fairly close game, and it does highlight some major issues you guys have a need to work on tonight when you guys are playing your games. So first thing I want to look at here is your guys' kickoffs. So you guys notice right off the bat here, you send this person going up like this to cheat for the ball, this person's going for it, and then this person's going for boost. This generally works, but I'd highly suggest pushing this person forward because he can acquire 36 boost, as opposed to this person pushing up and he's acquiring 24. So it's just a matter of who has more boost once they get to the middle of the field when they need to contest or hit the ball. I mean, it does still end up working out. You guys still get a goal out of it, so that's good. Again, you guys did the same thing, but it almost converts into a goal. Just the fact that you guys are communicating that I'm cheating, I'm going for it, is really good. Just being more communicative in your comms. I think that's a word. just communicating more in your games is going to help you significantly, more than anything I can really teach you. Now here's another thing I want to highlight right here is this offensive play. So you guys kind of fall into your positions here. You got your first man, second man, third man. But the problem here is how the third man actually plays this. See how number 3 man kind of takes this path into the midfield, because this position right here, just to kind of give you an angle of what he can cover, really no matter what speed the ball's going, is about this right here. Because I don't generally think this ball is going to head back this way. But he's really only covering what's in between these two lines. This is just like the angle that he's going to have on it, as compared to had he not made this big line, he stayed around like kind of this general area. He's got access to pretty much everything right here. This gives him a lot more area, including the goal, as you can realize, or as you can notice, to work with. So just positioning yourself not so much towards the middle when you're playing that third man role is a big thing you can do to help out your offensive rotations, because you see what happens here. The ball just goes right over there, and there's nobody there really to get for it. You're left chasing the ball. Good job, Carlton, there, identifying that you need to go for that. Right here, I just want to take note of, after you do hit that ball, from this position, you don't really want to turn back in like this. You want to turn back in this way, come towards the back post. Always want to rotate into the back post. You never want to rotate into defense anywhere but the back post, unless you're absolutely in a dire situation where you have to, get to the ball super fast and save it. And then right here, this is really just comes down to communication. So at this point, Rondo should be calling. I got it, and he's going for this. And then Warrior, you push up and you stop right here. But instead, you take this path and you come right up behind Rondo, leaving nobody back here to protect the net. Good job rotating cross field, Carlton. Rondo, you don't really want to rotate ball side here. I'll show you why. If we go back and we look at that play. What should have been happening here is instead of Rondo coming back this way, it should have gone back this way. Carlton comes back around this way, and then whoever is back here pushes up the field, which is what they did. This just kind of helps you fall back into position a little more. And one thing I want to note here is you don't have to head back for this boost, right? Because the maximum you're hitting here, because this isn't here, so this is 12, and this is 100. If you just turned, I don't know, say, if this was what, because you guys did fall back into rotations, Carlton stays on this side to play the third man. Instead, just come back this way and scoop back in. It's 10, or 12, 24, 36, 48 boost once you actually get in a position. And you don't really need 100 all the time in a game. It's good to have it, and you can cap that off by following the boost lanes that are right here. These are the boost lanes. Just being able to identify the boost lanes and use them accordingly when you're rotating from offense to defense will help you a lot with your rotational issues as well. And right here, you guys are kind of overloaded on this left side here. You have all three people over here, and this kind of gives them, if they decide to clear it out this way, you have this guy to come and chase it as well. And you guys have nobody really to come across the field here and contest this. Kind of too far back, or kind of too pushed forward, and not on the right side of the field as you guys should be. So in this situation right here, a few things actually. Warrior cuts across the field like this, which he should not have. Rondo is clearly back in a better position for this. And Carlton, you really want to get out of this situation. Just exit the situation as fast as you can. I'll play it back here, right? Rondo's in a pretty good position to go for this. Turn it into a 50-50. Carlton, in this situation, you don't really want to keep driving forward because there's not really a whole lot of room for anybody to get it to you. I mean, if we're looking back at the situation, thinking, you know, there's no other choice, right here, this kind of comes down to identifying your teammates, because I think Carlton's intentions here were to have Warrior pass this ball over to him as he pushes up. But instead, the ball goes this way, and Carlton's position is completely fucked. You guys are actually really lucky they didn't score off of this right here. I don't know who's pushing up midfield here. But you are way late to this ball. Way late to that ball. You gotta identify that you're not gonna get there in time to go for that. It really just comes down to perseverance on a next level, where you're not only identifying where your teammates are on the field, but also where your opponents are. Because all it really took is this burrito man guy to know what he's doing and to score that on the net. That was a close contest. Good job, Rondo, identifying Carl as a better touch. Then you guys kind of fall back into this. Everybody's on the left side field. All it takes is them to get it clear on the left side, or on the right side, sorry, and they get control of the play. It's good rotations right here. This is perfect, absolutely perfect. One thing I want to take note of here, I don't think anybody really did anything wrong, but Rondo, when you're crossing the field right here, you have a boost, a boost, a boost, a boost, a boost. So instead of taking the path that you took right here where you're only getting 12, you could take 12 or 24, 36, 48, 60. You're gonna have 60 boosts when you come back as opposed to 12. Assuming that they're all there, and they do respawn pretty fast. But it's good that you're actually rotating into the back post. That's what I like to see. Yeah, this came down to actually not rotating into back posts. The one time you didn't is actually the time you got scored on. You took this path where you're coming in this way, sitting here, and this comes down to the angles again, identifying what angles you can actually cover. And you put yourself in a position where you can really only cover this, and this right here doesn't really count because it's out of the field. So you're really only covering, you know, basically everything in this angle, as opposed to if you're looping around this way, your car is facing, let's say, that way, you're able to cover so much more of the field. Because if the ball goes out this way, right, you got the time to turn and go for that. Ball's coming, you know, up the wall. You have, you know, the time to push up and potentially get a contest because there's just no shot opportunity there. But you put yourself in a spot where you allow this Batmobile guy to go up the wall and then carry it out into your net. Or actually didn't go up the wall, you just actually got a really nice double touch. But the reason you weren't able to save that is because you put yourself in a bad position. And right here, I want to take note of is just the not falling back. Because after you go for this Carlton, you grab that boost. It's just time to get out. Go fall into rotation, because Warrior wants to go for this ball, but he ends up stopping right here, killing all of his momentum as you go for this wall, or you go for the ball and just get nothing out of it. There goes Warrior, kills all his momentum, and then he can't contest it. He had the right idea there, Rondo. It was just wasn't executed well enough. And then the own goal. Nice. I think this would have converted into a goal anyways because you guys had pretty good positioning here. To see if he were to miss this or just not get that great of a touch, you had Carlton right here who's covering, you know, this wide angle, so anywhere this ball goes, be able to get to it. Yeah, right here. This kind of comes down to how Rondo rotates back into net here. He identifies that Carlton's not going for this left side boost, so he goes for it, which is fine, but the path that he takes to get back to the net is something like this, where he's taking all of this time to go up the wall, then come back down, and then go back in, as opposed to just taking this, coming back around, and he's in position. Like, the time difference and the gap between this right here is so significant. Because had you taken the path that I suggest, suggested, is just kind of this path right here, where you're collecting close to 60 boosts, because you really don't need 100 in this situation to save this ball. Had you taken that path, you would have been able to save that ball, without a doubt. And then right here, I don't think anybody goes for the kickoff, yeah. Or goes for the cheat, sorry. It was a really good shot from Carlton there. I actually want to view that from his perspective here. Nice. Able to get under that ball and just get a very solid touch on it. So this kickoff goes. Interesting. Just comes down to mechanical error. This game really just kind of stagnates from here. You guys are able to hold it off. Again, this comes down to Carlton. You hover around this area right here. Yeah, whoever's cheating up, the purpose of a person cheating up, right? They have two jobs here. It is to go for the ball as soon as the ball comes out, or to 50-50, like, or either to get a hit on the ball and put it on their side, or to 50-50. And right here is a situation where Warrior goes for this ball, but Carlton, you stick with the ball instead of just getting out and going a grab boost, because you're not going to be able to do much here. All you're doing is forcing a 50. You guys got good offensive rotations here, and then it kind of comes back to the person who's playing 3-man decides to go out into this mid line. You should never be crossing this mid line when you're playing 3rd man, unless you're like the only person who can stop a goal attempt. Like, say the ball is right here, they have a person coming up for it, and your 2-man and your 1-man are already up, and they're out of the play. This would be a time where the 3-man coming across this mid line to possibly defend would work out, but this obviously isn't the situation. One thing I want to take note of here is I know momentum has a lot to do with how your defensive rotations work. So Warrior keeps up his momentum good, and then he gets a rondo where he gets in this spot and he comes like this, and then he backs up, and then he goes back forward, killing all of your momentum. You have no momentum left. In this situation, what I would rather you do is you come here, you realize you can't go for the ball yet, just loop back around, keep up that momentum, use your what is it called, the handbrake, just drift back around into that position, keep up that momentum. You always want to be speedy, you always want to keep your speed up, and if you guys can do that as a team, you will stomp Major. I can promise you that now. I think we do need to go and shame this team here. Right here. In this situation, when you're in a Rule 1, you are not allowed to break it. This is one of Rocket League's most sacred rules. And under no circumstances does this bond get broken. Look at these absolute mongrels. Who do they think they are? This is absolutely unacceptable behavior. I don't know who these two players are, but they are dead to me. Interesting rotations here. One thing I think we do need to note, how awful this fucking camera's acting. What the hell? Going back here, one thing we do want to note is the way Warrior rotates back here. He comes back for the boost, and then he stops. He has nobody over here. The third man position is just left wide open. And as you see, they get complete control of the ball, which is not what you guys want. Good defensive rotations. I don't really think there's much else to take away from that game. I think you guys played pretty good for a major team, if you guys are a major. And a few things I do want to note here are these things right here on the screen. Your ball side rotations. Ball side rotations will absolutely demolish any form of rotations that you guys have going. So making sure that you're never rotating on ball side is an absolute must if you guys want to really progress this season. Kickoff cheaters. Person furthest back or the person who has more access to boost should be the one who's cheating up on a kickoffs. This comes down to communicating as well. Communicating that you're the last person back or that you're going for it. What to do after kickoff? This really just comes down to the few kickoffs where one of you guys would linger at the ball too long when you have no boost, forcing a 50-50, which usually pretty much always doesn't go in your favor. So just heading to one of those to one of the side boosts and getting out is just your number one priority once you do a kickoff. Leave it for your cheater because they have a much better angle and a much better kind of perspective of the ball. They're not panicking as much with zero boosts, just kind of lingering around the ball. Rotating using boost lanes. As I mentioned before, boost lanes are these things right here. These boosts that kind of lead around the map in a giant football looking thing. You also got these right here, which I wouldn't suggest following these. You also got boost lanes that follow these boost paths right here as well. And just in learning when to use certain ones, or learning how to use these to transition into a better shooting position, it just really comes with time. But using these efficiently will make you a better player than everyone else you're up against. But yeah, that really covers most of what I was talking about. The only thing we have left is transitioning between offense and defense. And I covered this in my rotations video that I think Rondo should have sent you guys. If he didn't, then it'll be in the description of this video. I definitely recommend really breaking down what I talk about in that video, transitioning from offense to defense. But other than that, I think you guys played exceedingly well compared to other major teams that I've seen, and I think you guys are going to have a great season.